Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Start off with Carly for a minute, because I'm going to be honest, I feel like that was the best part of this episode. And I wasn't too sure when I saw Carly in Jacksonville and everything like that, because yesterday, hers was literally like the weakest part of the story. But she meets this woman, I'm going to be honest, her name started with a P. I really didn't hear it too well. And it seemed like they're having somewhat of a friendly conversation. Once again, I ain't saying this, but you know, screw it, I'm going to sit there saying it. Why is it that this woman felt the need to talk the minute that she saw Carly and she saw her reading a book? She was like, oh, how refreshing. I usually see a lot of young people with their phones and stuff like that. And it's just like, why does that matter? Like, I don't get it. I feel like in some ways it's very just judgy, you know? Even just her saying that. And that, I'm not gonna lie, that was the part where I was just like, you ever start talking to somebody and they say something that just kind of rubs you the wrong way, and automatically, like, your opinion of them starts to kind of do this? So she comes over and she sits down and she's like, she starts talking about her business and, she's in, like, I guess whatever sort of like remodeling business or something like that. I'm like, bro, you don't even know her from a hole in the wall, and you feel the need to start talking about your business and what you're doing and stuff like that. And granted, I don't know, maybe this was like her bragging, but it was like, okay. But Carly sat there and entertained her because, to be honest, she didn't have her phone, and, it was, I guess she was just being nice. Still talking. Then she made mistake number two. I guess she sees somebody that she knows, and she sees him with a woman that's clearly not his wife. She starts judging her. Oh, these call girls, this, that, and the third, and, it's bad on the establishment and the retail and all this other stuff like that. She just starts judging her heavily. I got annoyed by that. Okay? I got annoyed by that. And Carly, Carly got annoyed by that too. Um, because she was like, yo, listen, what business of it is yours, how she makes her money? Like, who are you to sit there and judge her? They get to talk and they talk about, I guess, some woman named Ruby, some woman named Ruby's house talks about a certain place that got torn down. And she was like, oh, well, the neighborhood and everything like that is better off for it because all these loose women and this, that, and the third. And I guess that was Carly's aunt. Like, yeah, I know that person, this, that, and the third. So she is just batting 1,000. They get to talking, and then apparently, like, here's the thing, I don't know much about Carly's background. Um, but they get to talking, and apparently, I guess way back when Carly was in an accident, or she was either in an accident or her friend was in an accident. I remember a little bit about that because I can't remember the woman that came to Port Charles, I guess, to try to ruin her life or something like that. It was some actress that I actually really loved. She was on this show called Sliders. But anyway, something happened with this woman's daughter, and she blamed Carly for it. Something about an accident that happened. I guess the girl was driving too fast. And this all took place because her husband, who was much older than Carly, who was a minor at the time, started trying to make advances on her. But this woman, the POS that she is, blamed Carly for it. I mean, well, she blamed Carly for what happened to her daughter. Her daughter found out she was a wreck, and this was something that wasn't even her fault. This was her father's fault for, well, trying to be with a minor. Let's just be very real. So you get to talking, and at the end of it, this woman's like, yo, listen, you should probably leave Jacksonville. Like, you should just go on a plane, just get lost, kick rocks. Now, I look at the situation with Carly and I'm like, well, you're not in Port Charles anymore. So you don't even have Sunny's protection. On top of the fact that, well, you're not even married to Sunny anymore. So your best bet with this woman, who seems like she has money, a bit of influence, I'm assuming, is to probably lay low until you can get a flight out of there. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not going to wind up happening. I'm pretty sure that this woman's going to get Carly abducted or whatever. Either way, it does seem interesting, even though that this woman just royally pissed me off. Now, Rory was there talking to Trina and talked about the whole Spencer thing. And at the end of it, Rory was like, does that change anything? Now, Trina was like, no, because, Spencer lied to me and he should have trusted me and this, that, and the third. And I mean, I'm glad that she told Rory that, even though that she knows the truth, knowing that Spencer still has feelings for Trina, that was a good thing. The fact that she was all like pissy and everything like that, that Spencer like, okay, I get the fact that Spencer said a lot of things that was hurtful and everything. So I get the fact that she was upset about that. But the lying thing was literally, like you knew why he was lying. I never understood that in a lot of these different shows. Um, they take something like that and they stretch it out more than it needs to be. Like she knew exactly why he was lying to her. Because he was sitting there trying to help her. And he couldn't sit there and be caught, siding with her. So I really didn't understand that part, especially when she was all like, oh, I need a man that can trust me and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, okay, Trina, you know what? You had me up until a point, and then you just completely lost me. Cam is there talking about stuff with his mom, with Spencer. With Josh. At some point, Josh and Trina talk, and they talk about the dumpster diving scene, the incident. And Trina was like, well, "Why didn't you not tell me?" And Josh was like, "Oh, well, I just didn't think it was that big of a deal." Because Trina was like, you practically lied to me. You said that you were, whatever. Like, why didn't you sit there and why didn't you tell Cam that? And Josh's excuse was she didn't want to she didn't want to make it seem like it was a bigger deal than what it was. But I'm like, that really doesn't make any sense. All he did was help you find your sister's bracelet in the dumpsters. Okay, it wasn't like you were in some sort of compromising position or anything like that. Like, it wasn't like they were dancing or whatever. He was just helping you. So I don't understand why she felt the need to lie. Like, her excuse made zero sense. Um, anyway, it seems like it gets a little heated, and Cam comes in there. Now Rory comes back, and he's asking questions to Josh as far as the attack is concerned. So now, Josh is kind of creeped out because, she talked about how she walked out, and she didn't see who it was. But, the fact that the person with the hook was around, you know, she's all kind of freaked out by it. Makes me wonder, was this guy specifically going after Josh? Now also, Christina's in danger. So yeah, there's a good possibility that Christina's in danger because she's a witness. There really wasn't much with the whole hospital story. I mean, TJ stopped in a couple of times, talk about, towards the end he talked about there was a complication because, the way the hook hit one of his lungs and everything. But, in the previews, it made it seem like Breno's dead. Breno died in that episode. Or, in today's episode. Which really wasn't the case. Now, I've heard from subscribers that there's rumors that they're going to kill off Brando. I don't know how true that is. It would be kind of a shame if they did. But I try to look at it from many different sides. So, there's also a rumor that's going on with the first Jordan. Basically, they're saying that she didn't want to leave, that they would just, I don't know, they fired her or whatever. From what I understood, originally she got picked up for a show, like for a TV show, and she decided to do that instead. But she, from what I understand, she recently came out with an interview saying that they let her go. The reason I'm saying they're talking about that is because if Brando dies, there's two possibilities: either he got fired or he quit. And I think that people should sit there and do their Googles before they get upset. Okay? Because yeah, I know there's three new characters, and yeah, Brando's been there for a hot minute. He's an established character. A lot of people love the character, and it'll be a shame for them to just swap out Brando for like Rory or Cody, which no one likes, or Dex, which some people like. But if it was the actor's choice, then we really can't get upset with the storyline. Like if you think about it, if the actor doesn't want to, the actor doesn't want to do it anymore, and they decide they want to, do a recast or whatever, then people shouldn't really be taking out their anger and their frustration on the three new people for basically saying, "Oh, you swapped Brando out for Cody and blah 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 blah. That's so messed up." Especially if you want to leave. But like I said, I always sit there and try to encourage people to do their Googles because with days, it's just, oh my goodness, this whole Peacock thing is just pissing me off. I feel like people they just want to be caught up in their feelings. And it's easy for them to sit there and go on the channel and complain. Not my channel, but go on the channel and complain. Then take 5 minutes and realize that it wasn't in their, it wasn't a choice. Jordan comes and questions Christina, which Christina told, Jordan the same thing that she told the officer yesterday. So, no closer to finding out who this person is. Now, Sunny came in there and practically told Ava that, Nicholas didn't do it because it was another attack. So they spend the majority of the episode with Ava and Nicholas just kind of going over, oh, I thought you did it because you was upset with Spencer. You was upset that, Spencer found out about Esme. Just recycling from what's been going on before. And while I do understand why they do that, to keep people up to date, especially if you're new to the show, it was kind of annoying. But yeah, no, she's after she got relieved about that, she's still upset about the whole Esme thing. So they're really no closer to. I shouldn't sit there and say no closer. What I will sit there and say about the scene is that Ava, there's a huge part of her that wants to forgive Nicholas. That wants to forgive Nicholas. And you can see it when he's not there talking to her and talking about how much he loves her and he wants to build a life with her and, he made a mistake and yada, yada, yada. Which I hate when people say, I made a mistake. Like cheating is somehow a mistake. No, that's not a mistake. That's a choice. That's a bad choice, but that is still a choice. And it pisses me off when people say that because there's a lot of things that could be considered a mistake. I step in somebody's shoes, I give somebody the wrong change. That's a mistake. But trying to equate you sleeping with someone, you mind and body chose to sleep with somebody, and you're equating it to, I don't know, a cashier giving you the wrong amount of change. Like, seriously, that's insulting. That's insulting. I'm pretty sure they're going to find a way to get back together, whatever, but I don't know. When it comes towards cheating, I feel like there's a point point of no return with that. There's a point of no return with that. Now I've said this in my B&B review, and granted, the person the person that questioned my statement was valid to question it. And I don't know if I should sit there. Screw it. I'm going to sit there and say in this one, and I know it's not going to make a lot of sense, but I'm going to sit there and say it anyway. And granted, when I say this is just my perspective. Okay, it doesn't mean that it makes sense. It doesn't mean that it's right. It just means that it's my perspective. In reality, the way I look at it, there's no way you can sit there and forgive somebody for cheating unless you do it. I mean, unless it's even. Okay, and granted, that's not right. I get it on a logical sense, but the only way I can sit there and ever forgive somebody for cheating on me is if I did it to them. Like, literally, I would literally sit there and be like, all right, well, the only way we can sit there and even this out is, well, by evening it out. That's just my personal perspective. I know that it doesn't make a lot of sense. I know that it's still wrong, and two wrongs don't make it right, but that's just how I see it personally. Then there's some scenes with Willow and Drew. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't really go anywhere. There's at one point where Willow thinks that Drew knows about her condition, and in reality, he's meant to talk about her pregnancy and how tired it could be and stuff like that. So he wanted to make some tea for her, and he was like, I get it, in your condition or whatever. And Willow was just like, how do you know? Did anyone tell you? No, but it seems like you really want to tell him. Anyway, she doesn't. She continues to lie, and the scene really goes nowhere. Drew is sitting there calling for like the 10,000th time, and just getting nothing but voicemail. You would sit there and think, most people, if I call you once and I've left a voicemail, I am not calling you back again. That's just not going to happen. I know with certain people in my life, you have to sit there and keep. Well, I think there's only one person in my life that have to sit there and keep calling because sometimes he just forgets. But for the most part, most people will call once, I'll leave a voicemail, and I'm not gonna sit there and keep calling over and over and over again. Michael was having a conversation at the docks with Dex, and basically was like, just keep my sister out of it, lie of omission or something like that. I'm just like, I don't know what I. And at one point, he almost seemed like he got upset with her. I mean, he almost seemed like he got upset with Dex, and I'm like, Dex was there to sit there and help out. Like, he didn't plan for Ava to sit there and get stabbed. And, when Michael's like, oh, you need to sit there and leave her alone, it's like, okay, it's not like he's intentionally trying to find ways to sit there and be with her. But towards the end of the episode, Sunny tells Dex to keep an eye out for Joss. So he's pretty much just going to be going totally against what Michael said, and it should be a lot of fun. Now, one other thing I will sit there and say about the conversation is that Dex said that he doesn't hate Sunny. I feel like there's more to why Dex wants to help out Michael. I know he said like getting a bad person off the streets, and maybe this ties more into his past and why he's doing it in the first place. Because I know it's not just about the money. It's not. Um, but when he said that I don't hate Sunny, remember a long time ago when Dante went undercover before he knew he was Sunny's son, and Michael literally sat there and warned him, like, yo, listen, don't get sucked up in this world. Pretty much they're saying, don't be like my brother. We all know at one point what happened to Dante when Sunny found out that, the dude was playing him and was, trying to get information on him. But that's Sunny, though. That's Sunny. Sunny is the monster with the heart of gold. Yeah, he does some really terrible things, but, he also does some really good things, besides giving to charity, keeping drugs off the streets. Let's be honest. He has a no drug policy. He has a no drug policy because of what happened with Stone. And, with Sunny, people know that it's better to have Sunny around than have somebody like Cyrus or even Alcazar. Alcazar, let me tell you how reckless Alcazar is or was for people that don't remember. Alcazar was so reckless that he decided to shoot up Kelly's a while back. And Sunny was like, That's not really smart. You do realize that your son, goes to Kelly's often, right? So, Sunny is the best of a bad situation. I think that's actually going to do it. I don't think I really forgot too much, or at least too much that's I don't think I really forgot anything that was like pertinent. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Before I go, I'm gonna sit there and put this in the community tab. About the live tonight. I'm still gonna do it. I just have to charge up my laptop at this point. So I know I said 6 o'clock, but it's already like 5:30, and I know it's gonna take longer than five. I know it's gonna take longer than a half an hour to sit there and charge up my laptop. So I want to sit there and say by 6:30, but it depends on how long it takes to upload and charge and everything like that. Hopefully it charges up less than a half an hour, and I can do it at 6:30. But I will sit there and put up a community tab saying like 6:30, 6:40. I want to have my laptop at 100 because with these lives, we start having a lot of fun and everything like that. And then if I'm not too careful, well, not if I'm not too careful, but next thing I know, it's like the battery's like almost dead because we've been like chatting it up so long. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.